The unwanted beats Kendrick Lamar turned into a classic.
Lamar's treasure. Producers get their beats rejected all the time, but what you might not know is how Kendrick Lamar once used beats that other rappers threw in the trash and turned those beats into one of his best songs. What song am I talking about? Duckworth. The close.
For everybody that doesn't know, the songs that we hear that come out, your favorite artists have already all written songs like to that. Like, what is it, Butterfly Effect or something like that by Travis Scott? But his life I cannot change. That was supposed to be Quavo's song. And then Murder Beats just switched it to Travis Scott because he liked Travis's version of it better.
Closing song on his album Damn, comprised of 3 different beats, all made by Ninth Wonder.
Hail Mary, your marijuana times is hard. Pray with the hooligan, shadows all in the dark.
And all 3 of the beats on this song were actually rejected by other rappers. It wasn't until Kendrick came along and used them that the beats finally came to life. So today let's talk about how this song came to be.
Damn, he got a good ass beard. I'm a beard connoisseur as well because, you know,
how these beats were made, and the story behind who rejected each of these 3 beats. Now, the part of the story that I find especially amazing is how way back before Kendrick became who he is today, even before he dropped his overly dedicated mixtape way back in 2010, he attempted to get Ninth Wonder's attention, asking Ninth to bless him with a beat. And as per Ninth Wonder, the producer of Duckworth, he didn't even see the tweet at this time. And what makes this story even weirder is that after Kendrick tried to tweet Ninth, they randomly happened to meet each other for the first time the day after this tweet. It's just weird how things work out. So after they meet, years go by, Kendrick drops a few seminal albums, no big deal, and eventually Kendrick reaches out to Ninth saying that they should finally work with each other on Kendrick's album. Ninth Wonder pays him a visit, plays him a bunch of beats, and this is how Duckworth was born. But like I mentioned, the irony is that the 3 beats on this song were actually rejected by other rappers, very prominent ones in fact. So let's start with the first beat that was used in the song and break it down and then talk about who rejected it. This beat was made by using this sample here. Now this sample has been used before, in a pretty big song in fact, and Ninth knew this going in.
Ludacris used this for Splash Waterfalls. The same sample. Now I'm thinking, okay, I have to flip it.
This is the song he was referring to.
You think Cat was racist back in the day? Nah, it showed that he's not.
They want it nice and slow. Kiss them from head to toe. Relax and let it go. Say it.
So here's what Ninth Wonder does with his beat. First, he takes the sample and makes an incredible amount of chops. The beat starts with Ninth chopping on the bells in this intro, giving him more control over the rhythm that he wants to create. So for the first bar, we have this highly musical piece. Then Ninth transitions into this back and forth between 2 chops, where the vocal and instrumentation underneath hold the same note, reducing how musical the beat becomes.
I love watching the like how a beat is made.
The beat doesn't become overly busy and unusable for a rapper. Every once in a while he throws in a new chop to keep the beat from becoming too monotonous and repetitive. He does this by finding 2 different chops where the vocal and the instrument change notes. And from here, Ninth could have just looped this around and made this a 4-bar loop, but he instead creates even more to turn this into an 8-bar loop. It's just really impressive what he does here. And notice what he does at the start of the second half of this loop. He finds a different section of the sample with similar music underneath, but with something different happening on top, helping the beat sound a little bit more cohesive, but also varied. I'll play both sections back to back so you can hear it, and this time just focus on the female singing underneath. From here, he creates another segment where we have that back and forth again.
My stepdad used to make the instrumentals and beats and made one for Chris Webby a long time ago. Don't remember which song. Ninth Wonder, Soundwave, The Alchemist, and Hit Boy are so fucking raw.
But for the final 2 bars, he introduces some more musicality with some new chops, which then leads to another flat, more consistent segment to close out the loop.
Darling, I'm telling you one hand. Change.
Now, as you heard, this part of the beat just sounds like a mess if we just listen to the sample. But take a listen to how much better this exact same segment sounds once we bring in the drums and the bass line.
Darling, I'm telling you one thing.
And this is why I often say don't worry about getting your samples to be absolutely perfect and having every single micro chop dialed in. Oftentimes these issues get masked by using your other accompanying sounds anyways. Overall though, great beat, so let's talk about who rejected it. It was actually a fellow West Coast artist who was working on their album at the same time. Here's Ninth retelling the story.
I made that beat for Game. I wanted him to take it because he would say I was working on a documentary
The Game didn't take it.
too. So I made it for him.
So this beat was originally supposed to go to the Game for the documentary too, but that didn't work out, so Kendrick ends up with it and uses it for the first beat on Duckworth. By the way, some fun trivia, Ninth also reveals what the original song title was for Duckworth, which I thought was pretty funny.
The song was called Life is Like a Box of Chicken.
By the way, some fun trivia, Ninth also reveals what the original song title was for Duckworth.
So, like, if anybody has heard the song Duckworth, it was about Kendrick's dad working at a chicken shop, and Kendrick's, pretty sure it was his manager, Top. Top would come to the chicken shop, and Kendrick's dad always knew, like, oh, these are some not all the way civilians, right? So Kendrick's dad would always throw extra chicken or extra biscuits in the boxes of food for Top and his people. So then they tried to rob it, and they knew Kendrick's dad would always like give them extra shit, so they spared him and they didn't shoot him. So like Kendrick even talks about it like in the song. He's like 20 years later, while we telling stories in the studio or something like that, Kendrick's dad and Top are talking about this one time getting robbed working at the chicken shop and Top robbing the chicken shop, and then they realize like, that was you, like, oh shit. That's why it's called Life is Like a Box of Chicken. Well, that's why it was supposed to be called that. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know which one
The song was called Life is Like a Box of Chicken.
That's a delicious sounding song. Anyways, let's talk about the second
pop
beat
at the end of the song is Ducky dying for the reverse album for Kendrick's Wickedness video.
on Duckworth.
Or verse,
Had a couple of shooters caught a murder case. Fingerprints on the gun, they assuming, but witnesses couldn't prove it.
which uses this 70 prog rock sample. This beat is a bit more straightforward. Most of the chops
I could give a college class on Kendrick Lamar.
are sequential, as you can see. What's interesting though is that this part of the sample gets skipped over.
What's crazy is I always thought the vocals was Kendrick singing.
If I had to guess, it might be because of how busy it is, making the beat more unwrappable if it were included. It also does a great job of creating his own bass line. You'll notice the part of the sample where it starts to get a little bit busier with more chops, and you can see Ninth omits adding a bass line to this section to create more openness. And that's pretty much it for this beat. And the rapper who rejected this beat, well, here's Ninth Wonder again.
The second beat I made for Common.
It was Common, who the year before put out his own album, Black
Shouts out Common.
America Again. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether this is the album that Ninth made this beat for, but the timing does seem to add up. And now for the third and final beat in Duckworth.
Crooked cops told Anthony he should kick it. He brushed him off and walked back to the Kentucky Fried Chicken. See at this chicken spot.
So this time, Ninth uses a more contemporary sample. Notice the year that this came out.
Out over the edge of time.
Proof that you don't need to dig in 70s soul crates if you want to make soulful beats. So here's how this beat was made. Interestingly, it's actually structured more similar to the first beat. Here the beat starts off with this highly musical phrase from the sample.
Out over the edge of time.
Comment, my dog. I
And then we go into
appreciate
the
it.
next part that flattens out, where Ninth chops up this section of the sample here.
Black of the Berry is the hardest song to me.
The beat just like the first beat.
For me personally, we'll get into my Kendrick song.
And this beat also has some phenomenal drum work to go along with it, where Ninth creates a unique pattern here. We start off with something more straightforward in the beginning.
Out over the edge of time.
But as the beat develops, Ninth decides to switch it up and place these kicks back to back and not have any snares play in this section. And he also continually drops the drums throughout as well. Just some really cool structuring to this beat. Now for the final reveal, who rejected this beat?
The second and third beat I made for Common, but he didn't take those either.
That's right, it was Common again. Common seems to have a history of rejecting beats that other people love. Earlier I did a video on Kanye beats that rappers rejected, and there were plenty of stories of Common rejecting a lot of Kanye beats as well. If you want to check out that video, by the way, it is next to me. But yeah, this is how Duckworth was made.
Oh, what a go, I love when people do this shit. And like the album's in reverse. Like if you really listen to the album, it's in reverse.
So after watching her struggle for a while,
but you got DNA.
I got loyalty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Element. This shit just reminds me of senior year of high school, bro. Because this shit dropped the summer of senior year.
Willing to die for this shit. I done cried for this shit. Might take a life for this shit. Put the Bible down and go out for a knife for this shit. DOT, my enemy, won't catch a vibe for this shit. Ayy, I been stumped out in front of my mama. My daddy commissary made it to commas. Bitch, all my grandma's dead, so ain't nobody praying.
To commas. That means his pops was in jail, and his pops had to worry about nothing when it came to getting commissary.
ain't nobody praying for me.
Ain't nobody praying for me, man. I ain't gonna lie. To me, loyalty got ran down. Like it was too much. It got overplayed. To me, personally. To me, it was a good song. Though. It was a good song. Pride. Are you serious? Like, are you serious? Somebody just made this? And then just made it? Humble got overplayed too. Humble was crazy.
It been that day for me.
Yeah. Hey, somebody said Lust was underrated. Was it? I feel like everybody loves Lust.
Something came over me. Way too hot to simmer down. Might as well overheat. Too close to comfort. That's blood rush, my favorite thing.
I didn't know what he was saying on this part for the longest time. As blood rushed my favorite vein. Yeah, I know what vein he's talking about, but I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about when I first heard this. I still don't. Oh, well, if you're a
Boy.
there's a vein that you have that you know fills with blood and. Anyways, the song's called Lust, man. 2 + 2 = 4.
Junkies, I just need you to want me. Am I asking too much?
The song's about let me put the head in. Love was cool. Love was straight. I don't know. Like, cause Love and Loyalty was like the top 2 on the album. And those are the songs where it's cool to me. Yeah, is my favorite song on the album. Now I just think of that one chick in the hospital. Her grandma's like sick, or her kid's like in like the NICU, and she's like, I don't wanna be with you. Y'all know what I'm talking about? XXX is the song I know the least on the album. Oh, Fear. Oh my God, this is such a good song. I used to get so fried to this song.
What's up, family? Yeah, this is your cousin Carl, man. Just giving you a call, man. I know you've been out.
This shit damn near made me want to cry, bro.
I know you feel like, you know,
This shit
people
damn
ain't
near
praying
made like
for you.
the person
You
I
have to
was,
understand
and
yourself.
this is why, not to get on like a little sad note, but anybody who's under 20, I'm 23, I turn 24 tomorrow, W's. But anybody who's under 20, right? I feel like once you reach 20 plus, you start developing, this is who I was during this time, right? Like, and obviously, like, somebody's gonna be like, bro, I'm 19 and I knew I was different when I was 15 versus now. Listen to what I'm saying. Like, I'm 20, I'll be 24 tomorrow. And I remember listening to this song at 18 and the thoughts that I had while I was 18, the things I was going through, the people I was with. Like, some of those people aren't here anymore. Some of those people are dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, just hearing this song takes me back to, like, a time capsule of, like, damn, this is when life was like that back then. And I feel like you don't really start getting that till you're, like, 21. Because I feel like 19 is the year that you start...
Think, Mark, think.
that you should start at least thinking of some.
If you walk
This is
in
my
this house
brother's
with
favorite
tears in your
album, my
eyes,
favorite song
running
on the
from
album.
poo-poo and Prentice. Go back outside, I beat your ass, little nigga. That homework better be finished. I beat your ass. Your teachers better not be bitching about you in class. That piece of better not be wasted. You eat it all. The TV better not be loud if you got it on. Them Jordans better not get dirty when I just bought them. Better not hear about you humping on Keisha's daughter. Better not hear you got caught up. I beat your ass. You better not run to your father. I beat your ass. You know my patience running thin. I got boo-boo payments to make. County buildings on my ass trying to take my footsteps away. I beat your ass if you tell them social workers he live here. I beat your ass if I beat your ass twice and you still here. Fear no one else. If I can smoke fear away, I roll that motherfucker up. And then I take to the house. I'm high now. I'm high
Right now.
Shalom.
You feel some type of way.
I didn't really listen to God either. I definitely, the songs I slept on for this album are God and XXX. Those are the two songs I slept on for sure. For sure. Best song? You think the God's the best song?
Reverse.
That's crazy. This is such
Darling, I told you many times. And
So let me show y'all another crazy album.
just to remind you,
Just as good as Damn.
that my
What the fuck?
Oh shit. But yeah, no, this is an amazing album.